Why other people's opinions control my peace. Zen story. Is that so? A friend stops replying to your messages and your mind immediately imagines abandonment. Your boss criticizes one mistake and suddenly you begin questioning your own worth. A single failure happens and your inner voice quietly whispers, maybe I am not good enough after all. One awkward moment, one harsh comment, one disappointed look, and the mind turns a small event into a personal catastrophe. Humans can survive pain, but many struggle to survive judgment. Imagine this. Long ago in Japan, there lived a Zen master deeply respected by his village. People admired his discipline, his calmness, his purity. To many, he was more than a teacher. He represented wisdom itself. Near the temple lived a young woman whose parents owned a small food store. One day, without warning, her parents discovered she was pregnant. Fear immediately entered the household. Not only fear of the situation itself, but fear of public shame. Again and again they demanded, "Who is the father?" At first, the young woman refused to answer, but after endless pressure, she finally whispered, "The Zen master." The village exploded with shock. Rumors spread through the streets like fire carried by wind. People who once bowed respectfully before the Zen master now spoke his name with disgust. Whispers replaced admiration. Suspicion replaced trust. The young woman's parents stormed into the temple filled with rage. "You are a fraud! You have destroyed our daughter's life." And the Zen master simply looked at them quietly, then softly replied, "Is that so?" Nothing more. No panic. No desperate attempt to protect his image. Months later, the child was born, and the parents brought the baby to the Zen master. By now, his reputation had collapsed completely. Some villagers avoided him. Others looked at him with disappointment. But the Zen master accepted the child peacefully. He cared for the baby every day, fed it, protected it, carried it through cold nights, asked neighbors for milk, lived quietly, without bitterness, without resentment. Then nearly a year later, the young woman could no longer bear the guilt. Through tears, she confessed the truth. The real father was a young man from the fish market. The parents were horrified, ashamed of what they had done. Immediately, they rushed back to the temple. They apologized repeatedly, bowed deeply, begged forgiveness, and asked for the child back. The Zen master gently handed over the baby, and once again, all he said was, "Is that so?" And maybe this is what most humans never truly understand. Their emotional peace depends entirely on external opinion. Praise creates confidence. Criticism destroys identity. A compliment can brighten an entire day. A negative comment online can ruin an entire day. Some people continue replaying one embarrassing moment from years ago as if their mind refuses to release it. Some spend hours checking whether someone viewed their story, because validation has quietly become emotional survival. Some achieve success, yet still feel empty, because deep inside, they are still waiting for approval from people who may never fully understand them. And slowly, life becomes emotionally exhausting, not because reality is always painful, but because the mind becomes addicted to evaluation. What do people think of me? Do they respect me? Do they approve of me? Am I enough now? And once peace depends on those questions, the world gains control over your emotional state, because humans become deeply attached to image, to reputation, to being perceived positively. But the Zen master understood something rare. Truth does not change simply because public opinion changes. When people praised him, he remained calm. When people hated him, he remained calm, because his identity was not built from temporary human perception. Most people live like leaves caught in the wind. Every opinion shakes them. Every misunderstanding disturbs them. Every rejection quietly enters the heart. But peace becomes possible when identity no longer depends entirely on external approval. This does not mean becoming emotionless or pretending criticism never hurts. Humans naturally feel pain, but suffering becomes deeper when the mind turns every judgment into self-worth. And this is why awareness matters. The next time someone misunderstands you, pause before mentally collapsing. Notice what the mind immediately begins doing, creating stories, creating fear, creating identity from one temporary moment. Then gently remind yourself, a person's opinion is not the entirety of who I am. And maybe real peace begins the moment you stop building your identity from the shifting moods of the world. You do not need to convince everyone to understand you. Maybe you only need to stop abandoning yourself every time someone else disapproves. Stop scrolling. Start living.